Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're stepping into the Security Operations Center of the future. And I'm not talking about some dusty server room. Think more like an intelligent, AI-powered command center built to fight modern cyber threats. We're talking about Microsoft Sentinel, and we're going to break down exactly how it's changing the game.
So let me ask you something. Does this feel familiar? If you're in security, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's this constant feeling of just drowning in a sea of alerts and logs that never ever stops. So how in the world do you find that one single critical threat hiding among millions of totally harmless events? It feels like an impossible task, right? And the data? It's coming from everywhere. You've got logs just pouring in from Azure, from Microsoft 365, AWS, your firewalls, literally every server in your network. Each one is a tiny piece of a giant puzzle, but trying to put that puzzle together by hand, it's pretty much impossible. It's organized chaos on a good day. Okay, so here's our game plan to cut through all that chaos. First, we're going to define this modern data storm. Then we'll take a tour of Sentinel's intelligent command center and see exactly how it thinks. After that, we'll watch it stop a real-world attack in its tracks, weigh the pros and cons, and finally, talk about what all this means for the future of the SOC itself. Let's get into it.
First up, the modern data storm. This is the fundamental problem that every single security pro is facing right now. And honestly, it's the very reason a tool like Microsoft Sentinel even exists. We're moving from chaos to clarity.
So what is Microsoft Sentinel, really? Well, at its heart, it's what we call a cloud-native SIEM and SOAR. I know, that is a mouthful of jargon, but let's just break it down. SIEM, that's all about collecting and managing all your security data in one central place. And SOAR, that's the really cool part. It's about automatically responding to threats once you find them. Sentinel does both. It brings order to the chaos. All right, so if Sentinel is our command center, what's actually inside? Think of this as the hub where you can see absolutely everything that's happening across your entire digital world. Let's look at the core components. Inside this command center, you've got these core tools. You have your data connectors. Think of these as the pipes bringing in all that data. Then you have analytics rules. That's the AI brain, sifting through everything, looking for threats. When it finds something, it creates an incident. You can visualize everything with workbooks, your dashboards. And my favorite part? The playbooks. These are your automated first responders, ready to leap into action in seconds. Okay, we've seen the parts, but now let's talk about the process. How does Sentinel actually think? Well, it follows this really clear logical path to turn all that raw, noisy data into a decisive automated action. It's really a simple 5-step process. First, it collects the logs with those connectors. Then, it stores that data efficiently. Step 3, and this is the big one, it runs analytics. That's the AI doing its magic. When it spots an anomaly, step 4, it generates an incident. And finally, step 5, it automates the response. It's just a super methodical machine for finding and fighting threats. Now, theory is one thing, but let's see how this all works in the real world. We're going to walk through a classic attack scenario and watch how Sentinel stops it cold. So, let's set the scene. Our story starts with a single, pretty normal event. A user, we'll call him Alex, logs into his company account from India. Okay, so far so good. Nothing unusual here. But then, just a few minutes later, Sentinel sees another login for Alex, only this time it's from the United States. And this is where all the alarm bells in the system start going off.
What we're looking at here is a classic indicator of compromise called impossible travel. It's just what it sounds like. I mean, unless Alex has a private jet that breaks the sound barrier, there's just no way he can physically get from India to the USA in a few minutes. It's a dead giveaway that one of these logins is fraudulent.
Now, a human analyst might spot this eventually, if they happen to be looking at the right data at the exact right moment. But Sentinel's AI is always watching, always connecting the dots. It sees this contradiction instantly and knows it's a massive red flag.
And this is where that SOAR magic really happens. A high-priority incident is created immediately. Then, a playbook kicks off and automatically disables Alex's account, stopping the attacker cold. So, by the time the SOC team even gets the alert, they're investigating a threat that's already been contained, not one that's actively happening. The attack is shut down in seconds, not hours.
So you can see the power here, it's pretty obvious. But like any advanced tool, you gotta have a balanced view. Let's take a look at the real-world advantages and, the practical challenges of using it.
Okay, the advantages are huge. You've got that incredible AI-powered threat detection, the fact that it's cloud-native means it can scale to whatever you need, and of course, that automated response is a total game changer. But on the flip side, there are some hurdles. You gotta learn KQL, the Kusto query language, which is powerful, but it has a learning curve. You also have to be really smart about managing your log costs because more data isn't free. And yeah, getting that initial setup just right can be pretty complex.
So this brings us to the big picture, maybe the most important point. What does all of this mean for the future of the Security Operations Center? Well, it all comes down to a new kind of partnership.
And really, this is the key takeaway. Sentinel isn't here to replace security analysts. It's here to empower them. It's a force multiplier. It handles all the boring, repetitive work, sifting through mountains of data and containing those immediate threats. And that frees up the human experts to do what they do best: deep investigations, proactive threat hunting, and building a much stronger, more strategic defense.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As AI takes over all these immediate, reactive tasks, the role of the security professional has to evolve. It's shifting from being a first responder to being a strategic investigator, a master of these incredible systems. So, what do you think is the next great skill to master in this new era of security?